Lighthouse has become a lot like family. I happen to know because I'm in so many IEPs myself as the admin, and over and over again, I keep seeing the same MPAs, Lighthouse being one of them, that when I see Lighthouse, I go, oh, good. Okay, this one's going to be fine. They know us, we know them. I see the same providers all the time. They're lovely. They get our school. They have worked with our case managers for a long time, and we just have a good relationship.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Jenny Plumb. Jenny is the Assistant Superintendent at Yosemite Valley Charter Schools, which is in Fresno, California. Jenny, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute
partnership, so I'm delighted to be here.
So one of the things that we have in common is we have been Lighthouse and Yosemite Valley and Monarch River have been partners together for 6 or 7 years, I think now. So. Yeah, long time.
Yeah,
but Jenny, let's talk about you first. Before we get into Lighthouse, let's talk about you and about the schools. I really want to give you an opportunity to tell people a little bit about you. How did you become the assistant superintendent? And I know there's more to Yosemite Valley, and if you could give our listeners a little bit about the whole umbrella and hierarchy, that'd be awesome.
Sure. So we're a unique school. We are an independent study charter school, which means that we're hybrid. So we see our kiddos, but we don't have a campus. They're not coming to a campus where they have classes with us. Our classes, if they are going to have classes with us, are online. But that doesn't mean we don't see our kids. So we're not an online school either. We see our kids often. We meet with them regularly. We check up on them. There's great support. We see them all the time at parks and events and intramural sports and academic meetings. It just looks a little bit different because it's independent study. However, between the two schools, we will have almost 5,000 kiddos and 600 in SPED, so we have quite a gigantic system that we're working with and supporting kids, full wraparound support.
Awesome. And you said the other school, so explain that part of it. I mean, I kind of understand it, but I want our listeners to understand like how you guys are structured and why two schools? Why is it split like that?
So we're sister schools, and the reason there are two, and they do have separate boards, so they are very two distinct schools, but the reason there's two is one is out of Fresno County, that's Yosemite Valley, and one is out of Tulare County. So we are serving different counties and demographics of students. There's some overlap. If you're touching a county, you can have students in that county, and these counties are touching, but we have noticed that actually our student groups are different depending on whether they're in Yosemite Valley or Monarch River, and they need slightly different support. However, we share resources together and do MOs to each other just so that we can support more. The two schools together then can float more coordinators, support positions and different things so that we can have a bigger kind of
impact
support system in general.
Yeah. And Yosemite Valley is bigger than Monarch River Academy.
Bigger, yes.
Yeah. And that's why we introduced Yosemite Valley Charter Schools first.
Right.
Even though you
were
and I both know.
Monarch's the smaller and newer one.
And we love them as much as we love Yosemite. So if you're listening to this and you're at Monarch, we love you too.
That's right.
Because we absolutely do. I love working with you guys. It's always a pleasure. We just have such an incredible partnership. So tell me, and I'm going to pull up my question because we talked a little bit about questions before this show. When you look back at what it was like before Lighthouse, what would you say is one of the biggest values that Lighthouse provides to your schools?
Yeah, so the unique part of our school is that we have actually always had to utilize MPAs in order to do our services because there's just so many services for our kiddos.
Right.
And so Lighthouse has been one of our longest, maybe our longest partner in that. And over time, we have developed, I think, more than a partnership. Lighthouse has become a lot like family. I happen to know because I'm in so many IEPs myself as the admin, and over and over again, I keep seeing the same MPAs, Lighthouse being one of them, that when I see Lighthouse, I go, oh, good. Okay, this one's going to be fine. They know us, we know them. I see the same providers all the time. They're lovely. They get our school. They have worked with our case managers for a long time. And we just have a good relationship back and forth. If we need to text them real quick on an update, if we need to email, if we need to get a hold of anyone, if we need to find a sub, Lighthouse has been responsive. But I will say one piece of the puzzle that Lighthouse stepped up to that our other MPAs did not, even though they got the invitation, that Lighthouse did step up to, was in our school over the last 3-4 years, we've worked really, really hard at building a MTSS system, so our intervention system, that is collaborative between the Gen Ed side and the SPED side of house, so that there's complete bleed through. All our teachers have buy-in, all of our admin have buy-in. In many schools like ours, you will not see many of the mid-level adminning IEPs. They do in ours, because if you're going to oversee Gen Ed teachers, then SPED students are Gen Ed students first. You need to know your students. You need to know the resources that you can offer SPED students. And so there's just great collaboration. In that collaboration and through this MTSS system, we realized that sometimes there were kiddos on the fence. They didn't quite meet SPED eligibility, but there was still a need. It wasn't like, and also SPED gives access, that all the SPED kiddos typically need intervention as well. It doesn't mean that it just gets put over to SPED side of house and now SPED handles it. So anyways, all that to say, in all this collaboration, we realized that there was a niche group of kiddos where they needed intervention, such as speech. We have others, but maybe...
We do OT as well, yeah.
Yes, you do.
Right.
And actually, I had one of those. I was part of that first kiddo that needed OT. OT is not a standalone service, and I thought, what if we get creative? Lighthouse might be able to help. So we have too many kiddos for one internal intervention SLP to handle on their own. And then, so we started asking our MPAs, is this something to be interested in? Starting kind of a pilot program? Would you help with our intervention as well? And it was too out of the box for them, which is fine.
Really? See, that breaks my heart, you know? Yeah.
But for you guys, it was not. It was an immediate yes. And so, and then we had an additional little kerfuffle, if you will. Our intervention SLP had to leave mid-year this year. And so we had students that were in the middle of intervention, needed to start intervention, needed to be assessed to see where they would, what specifically their needs were. And within a week, Lighthouse had picked up the pieces and had the ball rolling with all of our kiddos and had them in those intervention classes, and it was impressive.
There is a crisis in this country, a massive shortage of special education teachers. We know how devastating this can be for your students, families, and staff. Lighthouse Therapy places experienced special education teachers in virtual, hybrid, and on-site roles, and we handle everything from hiring to onboarding to mentorship. These aren't just placements, they're professionals who understand compliance, collaboration, and care. Let us help you fill in the gaps with special education teachers who really understand. We are here to help. Visit lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together to connect with us today.
And that's what I mean. When you've got 6, 7, 8 years of relationship where I know you, you know me, and you know how our school works, it was just impressive how you quickly became, you were just part of the family, like, sure, we can handle that need for you, and we put it together, and off we went, and all of those kiddos got great service. some of them, exited already. They don't need any more intervention. Some need another round or two, but, and that's totally fine. Also, some of those kiddos, you get into it and you're like, oh, I think you might need more. And off to SPED they might go to give you a little more assessment.
And
so,
that's okay too,
all
right?
the things. But we were just super, super pleased with how quickly Lighthouse picked up this ball and ran with it when we had this need, and we didn't drop anything. We didn't have kids left hanging. So that was really impressive to us, and why we'll continue to be a partner with Lighthouse.
Awesome. Because I'm the CEO and founder, you know this about me. Our mission is always to be a therapy company run by therapists for therapists, but the part of it that runs it all is for the betterment of students. And so when you come to me, because it was me initially, and said, do you guys think you can do this? Well, yeah, we can do it. Absolutely. Let's help you figure it out, set it up. If there's a way that kids can get services, and let's keep them off of an IEP, right? We want them off of not ever have to go that road, and absolutely. And it gives me chills because I love what you guys do, because it's working. It's working. You guys are being so successful, and the fact that we can help, and we have an amazing recruiting and HR and clinical, and all three of those pieces are so critical to what we do for you guys, and finding the right therapist, and making sure, and taking responsibility when we make mistakes. All of those things. I think that's and I think that it's a two-way street. We know that we can always come to you guys if there's a problem. We know that you're going to come to us and if there's a problem, and we're going to fix it, and we're going to move forward. And most of the time we don't have that happen even. So, and it's just been, it's a pleasure. We actually this year, you can mess around with statistics all you want, but I love this statistic that we have this year. I'm tooting my own horn a lot on this show. I don't really do that always, but we have a 98% retention rate this year. Now, there are people that we did not invite back, and we don't include them into that because there's a reason that they're not coming back. But of the ones that we invited back to work with us again next year, 98% of them said yes. And what does that tell you? It's like we really try very hard to take care of the people that work for us, because it matters. So.
It does matter. I think it allows you to be a better partner. They're happy, so then they come and they are able to be present with the kids happy, and at IEPs happy. It matters.
Yeah, it does.
For good care for students and parents.
Right. And for those of you that are not in California, we like our alphabet soup in education. So I just wanted to be clear. An NPA is a non-public agency. And that is a certification as a company that wants to work in California. You have to go through the process to get an NPA certification so that you can work with the schools. And that is something that I found out almost day 2 of getting started. It's like, oh, we need to get this. So, and so it's something that we, it gets us on lists, but it also gets us the opportunity to know that you've got somebody who's gone through the process that the Department of Education in California has vetted for you.
Right.
And made sure, because it's not my daughter. She's so funny. She's the one that does the application every year. And it usually comes out in July, and it's June 10th today. On this recording, and so we get it in July, and she goes, oh, because it's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
to do that report every year. There's stuff that we pull in, and from year to year, but still, it's like, oh my goodness. So, but that's good. It's a good thing. Yeah.
But then we know it's vetted, it's top notch. It gives us a sense of confidence that we know that we're working with a company that would, theirs are vetted as well as we would vet our own teachers and providers, so we don't have to worry. And so we definitely use vetted MPAs.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about like the history. How did, because we could talk about, I can talk about Lighthouse all day, but I really want to talk about some of the amazing things besides Lighthouse and what we're doing with you guys that are happening, because you're not a small school. And it is something that how did it come about? How did you guys? I know there was some shakeup at one point, and we don't have to go into all of that. But you guys came out shining and have done a really good job of serving. So I'd love to hear a little bit more of that, and give the schools a plug. Hey, if you're looking and you're in that area, let's tell them about why it's so great to go to Yosemite and Monarch.
It's been a bit of a haul. It was a conglomeration of several schools across California that split. And so two of us stuck together, in the Central Valley, and created our own boards and did a bit of an overhaul. We did an overhaul of finances, an overhaul of audits, an overhaul of our programs, an overhaul of our dashboard. There was no stone left unturned.
Mm-hmm. And that was
Which in
about
charter
5 years
school-
ago? Is it 5
Yeah,
years
about
now?
that,
I think,
5, 6 years ago.
okay.
No stone is ever, I mean, you always are turning over stones. The only thing constant in charter school is change. So, you have to know that first. But there were 3 of us, our superintendent, Steph Johnson. There was 4, because there was at that time another superintendent who has since retired. She was actually the leader of our pack, Dr. Lori Goodman. And then Maria and I, we were the assistants. And it was just an overhaul of what are we doing to really support kids? And it used to be more of whatever the parents want to do, that's what we're going with. And now we're threading the needle of individualized education, so the parents are a huge partner in that process, but at the same time, huge accountability systems and support systems, which are baked in. But it was an overhaul. We had to get every single system in place, leader in place, and we're still working on it. So for the beginning, I was actually in charge of curriculum, which led into intervention. So I created different curriculums that really taught the standards well, that did a rigor of learning. We worked on different pathways kiddos could take that honored their individualistic learning style, but also were rigorous with high accountability systems. We worked on assessments, not just the state and the school actually twice a year, beginning and end, but all the ones in between. So what are our screeners, our math, our ELA, our writing, what are our rubrics? How do we know what we know? Our dashboard has come up astronomically. We've moved that needle so far just by doing this. And so we know it's working. We have more graduates, A to G graduates. We have more CTE pathways and completers. And we know it's working because we hear through the grapevine that other schools are sending their kids to us when they no longer know how to serve them. And so, right or wrong, doesn't matter, we're happy to have them because there are nuances. We don't keep things in boxes. Like SPED is a department over here and Gen Ed is a department over there. There is a flow through and a spectrum through all of them, and they're all our kids. And everybody has bought into these are our kids. So if I'm Gen Ed, SPED is in an island over there and they'll figure out how to meet their needs. We actually are meeting their needs and they're helping us get that access. And so that overhaul was huge. It was long, but if you ask any, even down to our paras, all the way down, so teacher, para, support staff, coordinator, director, everybody's on board with that system. It's actually a 5-tier system, not 3. Because we have an additional piece in the middle there for students in crisis before they go to 504 SPED. So it's a really robust, but it's working. And we are going to keep going because it's working and being creative with it.
Right. Yeah. And that's super exciting and it's a place where kids can come and be comfortable and be successful. And at all ages, you guys is it pre-K? Do you start pre-K or is it K? It's K,
12,
kindergarten through 12th grade, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you've got kids in all walks of life, all activities, all levels of education,
even an adult
intelligence.
transition program up to 22. So we've got them all.
It is, and we provide, and Lighthouse, we started out doing special education services for them, and then it's SIP now. It was SST, but I don't know the acronym. I should know the acronym. What's SIP? So Lighthouse started out with you guys doing special education services, and then this program started, and the early intervention cycles and doing all of that, and that's become successful. And we have just, every time you guys have had a need now, and a lot is because of Yosemite and Monarch, we now have special education teachers that we provide. We have APE services, adaptive physical education. We have deaf and hard of hearing certified teachers as well. And this year, because of Yosemite and Monarch, we're stepping into nursing, which is a new area for us. So, talk about a partnership.
I do love that. We had a gap in nursing. One of the nurses we had utilized for a while retired, and we went, uh-oh.
Yeah.
What MPA do we know that could help us with this? Well, let's try our oldies but goodies. Yeah. And lo and behold, here we are.
And here we are. Because, it's like anything else. If we're going to do it, we do it. We try to do it well. We want to do it well. But we also know that working with you guys and having the partnership that we have, if something isn't exactly the way it needs to be, I know that you guys can help us get there, because we obviously want to give you what you need and do it well. So if something isn't going well, we can talk about it and go, oh, okay, well, we'll just shift gears and make sure that the therapist, or in this case, the nurse, knows what they need to do, because I'm sorry, we're almost out of my wheelhouse right here.
This is a little bit of an innovative collaboration at times between the two of us, where there's a need. How do we meet it creatively and figure it out on behalf of students? Because if you stay to your box or your lane, sometimes the students are just outside that. And then you don't quite meet them where they're at and what they need. And I know that we're not giving kiddos everything they ask for. That's not what I'm saying either. But there's a true need in the room, a true one. And how do we meet it? And do we meet it at the highest level, or can we, step that down, like we said earlier, with intervention or for a time? Yeah. And so,
and we never want them to stay. We never want them to stay in special education. That's the other thing I've seen with some companies, and I don't want to bash anybody at all, but I've seen, and there's a tendency as an independent contractor, well, if I give this kid up, am I going to get another one? Am I get another student? I don't care about that. If this child no longer needs services, I've always told my therapist, you do what's clinically appropriate for that child. You don't keep them on. I don't dictate minutes. I don't tell people how many minutes they should see, because if I'm hiring them and presenting them to you, then they're representing us and you in front of that family. So again, it's really important that you do the best that you can, and when that child doesn't need services anymore, we dismiss.
We love that mindset, because we did run into that with a couple of other MPAs, and I'm like, well, don't you worry. We will always have the next one coming. Yeah. So there will always be a funnel system for you. Right. So if the goal is for that kiddo, if we're going to serve them, we're going to get them what they need, we're going to get them up to speed, we're going to move them out, they're going to be successful, and they're on their way. And don't you worry, because the next group is coming up behind them.
And they do. And they
do. So there is not a scarcity here of kids that need help. Quite the opposite. We're seeing, especially since COVID, that the need has grown astronomically. That seems to be a school trend. And so the better we can meet the needs of students in a creative fashion that truly listens to the parents, that's key too. What they're saying they need and the support they need. And not circle the drain with them over and over in IEPs, but what do you need? Okay, well, maybe we can meet that. Let's think about how we can meet that. And so that's what we truly do, and get them on their way and moving. And it kind of solved, like, can you get those tools now in your life so that you no longer need them anymore? That's the goal.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just such a pleasure to have that opportunity to partner with you and do that. So, where, Jenny, now that we've talked up Lighthouse and we've talked up Yosemite and Monarch, where do people go if they want to learn more about Yosemite and Monarch? Because, we need people to know where to find you guys.
The best place is going to be our websites. If you just Google Yosemite Valley Charter or Monarch River Academy, they pop right up. And we are not shy about our resources. We put them all on there, so we don't hide anything. So it's a wealth of resources. Even if you don't want to join our school, you can find our list of curriculums and vendors and all the pieces on our websites, for TK all the way through high school, simply because we also believe that if our school is not right for you, maybe there's a resource that will help you. And we, again, we don't have a scarcity mindset. We're here for the community. If the community needs us, we're here for you. And they seem to keep coming. So
Yeah.
our website is open.
Awesome. Awesome. Jenny, you know, it has been such a pleasure. You know, I love the collaboration. I love what we're doing together, you know, because like the podcast says, we're brighter together, right?
That's right. Truly.
Thank you so much. And enjoy the summer. Take some time
Me
off.
too.
Get your toes in the sand and enjoy the summer a little bit if you can. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
That sounds delightful. Thank you for having me.